Thank you for tuning in to Homeschool Homesteaders. Today we're going to talk about growing dill. In my garden, I have a designated raised bed specifically for my herbs. So the first thing I do is I plant chives. They're perennials. They come out every year. Then I plant one row of basil. Then I plant parsley. And finally, I plant some dill. So as you are watching the live footage, notice, like I said, I sprinkle the seeds. I don't worry about the spacing or how deep to plant them. They will grow. If some seeds don't germinate, you have plenty of other seeds. And the seed package will have like 500, maybe 200 seeds in each. So you don't need that much. So if some don't germinate, don't worry about it. And as they grow, notice how tight and compacted they are and crowded. But who cares? Because this should motivate you to come pick your herbs daily. It's very important that we know the health benefits of what we are planting. So this here is basil. Just watch the line as it zips across. And notice vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K, calcium, manganese, and iron are some of the herbs that stick out. Not very high, but there's plenty, with the exception of vitamin K. Now let's look at what 2 tablespoons of chives will provide, and not very impressive compared to basil. So it's kind of down below. Let's check out 2 tablespoons of dill. Now compared to chives, they're slightly healthier, but once again, basil is much higher in certain nutrients. Dill does have more calcium and iron than basil will. And let's check out parsley. This is 2 tablespoons, and yes, we see some hikes. For example, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K, and that's about it. Iron, it's up there as well. So it looks like parsley and basil are the healthiest herbs you can grow in your garden. However, this video is about growing dill, and you should grow it because it helps prevent certain stomach issues, diabetes, certain cancer, promotes women's health, and so try to incorporate this into your cooking because it does have a lot of health benefits that you should not ignore. This is where I live in the state of Minnesota, puts me in zones 4 or 3. And if you plant dill on Memorial Day weekend or June 1st in Minnesota, you would have no problem growing dill. So that's why on difficulty level, it's 2 out of 10. When it comes to the ideal growing temps, you need somewhere from 50 to 85 Fahrenheit. 70 degrees Fahrenheit is the best. And it does not tolerate cold, will not germinate, and it could handle very high heat. One of the best things about growing dill is that from one tiny seeds you will have a plant that's about 3 or 4 feet tall. It's beautiful. It's a very striking contrast with the rest of the garden, and it attracts a whole bunch of pollinating insects. I can never get a honeybee, but I do have plenty of wasps, black hornets, bumblebees, some other insects I never even saw except in books. And of course, as soon as you come with the camera, they fly away. But yeah, I enjoy watching the bees. Now, what do we use dill for? Well, one of the best things to do is obviously garnish your food. Here, this is a Russian winter salad or shuba, and dill is perfect with this. It's one of my favorite salads. I do not have a video of how I made the salmon gravlax, but dill is a key ingredient to make this tasty breakfast bagel with salmon. Now, as you look into the garden, notice how dill just sticks out. Even though it's a plain looking weed type of plant, it's still beautiful. I don't know why, but I like the way dill looks in my garden. So here we have some cucumbers. I'm washing them, giving them a rinse, but can you guess what we're going to make with cucumbers and dill? And I'll give you a clue. Begins with the word P. Yes, it's pickles. Here we have pickles. Now this is just one batch. I make several batches throughout the summer, or try to at least. And dill pickles is the classic ingredient that you use dill for. So make sure you grow dill so you could have your own dill pickles over the winter. Another good recipe for dill is making dill herbal tea. And basically you take the dry seeds, put them in one of these French presses, pour some water. You could take any part of the plant with the exception of the root. And this is a very good tea. I'll give it 8 out of 10. You will have to develop a taste for it, but it's a very good tea. I'm surprised most people are not aware of it. And it does have some health benefits as well, so try it at least once. And I probably make this maybe 5 times during the harvest season, because this is one way to get rid of the seeds. Now there's always the classic dill mashed potatoes with lots of butter, but another recipe using dill seeds that most people overlook is the dill bread. Yeah, sometimes bread will use caraway seeds, maybe fennel seeds, but dill seeds is often very overlooked, and it makes a very delicious bread. Just put it in your coffee grinder, grind it up, and incorporate into any breads that you make. And the smell is just amazing when the bread just comes out. Now, any homesteader who is worth his salt, he obviously or she obviously makes their own bread. And when it's dill harvest season, obviously you incorporate the dill seeds into any bread you make. Here I made just a regular loaf pan, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the most delicious BLT. Now check this out. Obviously cut some bread, put some lettuce, put some tomatoes, maybe even a yellow tomato, and yes, of course, all of this is from my garden. And finally, you put bacon on top, and as much bacon as you want. When you're working outside on the homestead, you don't have to worry about those calories because you will burn them. So then you take a bite out of this delicious sandwich, and it's worth it. The dill just gives it this like aroma that you do not get from any other bread. Saving dill seeds for next year is like the easiest thing ever. In fact, if you plant dill once, you will never have to buy dill seeds again. All you do is take a little envelope when the seeds are brown, put them in the envelope, make sure the envelope is labeled, and you got yourself a nice packet of seeds for next year. Like I said, you will never have to buy dill seeds again. Very easy to collect. And finally, as always in my videos, I like to show off with my flock. And dill seeds, the chickens love them. Basically any livestock, turkeys, quails, pheasants, whatever you have, even ducks, they love dill seeds. And so just throw in the clumps and just watch them eat. They will come, and for some reason they know the dill are tasty, so they will munch away. And make sure you get rid of your seeds from the garden, because if you do not get rid of your seeds, some of them will fall into the ground and they will start growing again. That's how easy they reproduce. And so here in Minnesota, obviously they will die over the winter, so I'm not worried. But down south, you could probably have several continuous crops. So thank you for watching this video.